What's up everyone and welcome back to the channel. Let's dive into our first news. Dana White recently opened up about the upcoming UFC White House card, and he made it clear that security is going to be one of the biggest challenges. Dana explained that he and his team went to the White House last week for their very first official meeting with President Trump. During that meeting, they brought along detailed renderings of what the setup could look like, showing Trump exactly how the event might be staged. According to Dana, Trump was enthusiastic about the ideas presented. He carefully looked over what was shown, giving feedback on what he liked and what he didn't. Dana said Trump loved it overall, which gave them the green light to start working on the plan in more detail. From there, the focus shifted toward the serious work that lies ahead, as this will not be a normal fight night. Dana recalled his last trip to the White House. He described going up to the roof and being stunned by the level of security already in place. He mentioned seeing snipers stationed all over the rooftop, some armed with .50 caliber rifles, which created an intimidating presence. That memory gave him a sense of just how intense the situation would be when hosting a live UFC event right on the White House lawn. For Dana, this type of setup is unlike anything the promotion has ever done before, and while the opportunity is historic, it also brings massive logistical hurdles. He emphasized that the top priority for the Secret Service will always be to protect the president. That fact alone raises major questions about how they can balance the usual chaos and excitement of a UFC event with the heightened level of security required in that location. Dana pointed out that even a smaller crowd will not make things much easier. He estimated the attendance to be under 5,000 people, which is significantly less than what UFC fans are used to seeing at pay-per-view events in massive arenas. Still, having even a few thousand people gathering on the White House lawn while the president is inside requires a security operation that will be unmatched. Dana admitted that this balance is what makes the planning so complex. The White House is not designed to host a combat sports event, and coordinating every detail with Secret Service, from entrances and exits to safety protocols, will take an incredible amount of work. Despite all of these concerns, he made it clear that the excitement is building. The vision of bringing UFC to such an iconic location is something he believes fans around the world will never forget. He also spoke about diving headfirst into the project, stressing that the UFC team is now past the early idea stage and is fully committed to making it happen. From venue design to production details, everything has to be handled with precision. Dana didn't downplay the difficulty, but he highlighted the unique energy of staging a fight card at the most powerful address in America. For him, it's another way to push the UFC into new territory, making history in the process, while taking on one of the most challenging setups ever attempted. Moving on to another news, Ben Askren has made incredible strides in his recovery following his double lung transplant, and he recently revealed that he is back to coaching wrestling. Just last week, Ben announced that he was able to jog on his own again, something that marked a huge milestone in his journey. Now, only days later, he has shared that he has returned to his passion, coaching wrestling right out of his own garage. For Ben, the idea of coaching was on his mind almost immediately after he woke up from the surgery. He explained that coaching is what he loves most, and right away he began thinking about when he could get back to it. He set Labor Day as his personal target to start coaching small groups at his garage, knowing full well that his doctors would not allow him to return to large classes or full-time coaching just yet. He recalled how soon after waking up, his thoughts went to the big national tournament in Fargo. He admitted that it was a bit delusional, but he actually thought about whether or not he should go, even though he had no chance of being able to attend. That mindset showed how deeply coaching and wrestling are ingrained in his life. Even while recovering in his hospital room, he spent his time watching his wrestlers, texting with them, and staying connected as much as possible. He explained that coaching has always been at the forefront of his life, something that keeps him motivated and inspired. Ben pointed out that he is being cautious and responsible, sticking to all the medical guidelines. He noted that working with kids in an open-air garage is a much safer option compared to being in a small enclosed space. For him, one of the main goals is to instill a genuine love of wrestling in his students. He believes that while discipline is important, when you love something, discipline comes naturally. He gave the example that if someone is passionate about a sport, they don't need to be forced into it. They look forward to training, they stay after practice, they ask questions, and they even go out of their way to watch more matches because they are excited. On the other hand, if someone doesn't love it, the moment practice ends, they are out the door and not thinking about it anymore. Ben explained that one of the secrets of AWA, his academy, is forcing athletes to acknowledge the real problem. He believes most people avoid doing that because it can be painful, but once you face the issue honestly, then you can focus on how to solve it. He stressed that one of the biggest mistakes both in wrestling and in life is when people set too many goals at once. He sees kids do it all the time, setting 20 or 30 different goals and then feeling like complete failures when they can't reach them all. His advice is to keep it simple, focus on just one clear goal at a time. That's how progress happens. Ben even compared that to his own rehab. He set very basic goals, like being able to take a 10-minute walk, and then building up to 12 minutes. His very first goal was simply to walk again. Each time he reached one of those small goals, it gave him motivation and momentum to keep moving forward. For Ben Askren, coaching wrestling is more than just a job. It's a passion, and being back in his garage with his wrestlers is proof that his love for the sport has carried him through one of the toughest battles of his life. Moving on to another news, Carlos Prates has revealed his long-term plan for his fighting career, and it includes retiring at the age of 35. Prates explained that his dream is to first capture the welterweight title, then secure a rematch with Ian Gary, and after that, he plans to hang up the gloves for good. For him, the goal is clear: win the belt, avenge his loss, and then step away from the sport while still young enough to enjoy life beyond fighting. Prates made it clear that there is no bad blood between him and Ian. He said that after fights they are always cool, and he doesn't view Ian as an enemy. In fact, he complimented Ian, mentioning that his wife and son are really nice people. Still, Prates admitted that deep down he feels the need to compete with Ian again. He talked about how he had gone 6 years without a loss, and then Ian came along and handed him a defeat. That loss stung because Prates truly believes he could have won that fight. He explained that his plan is simple. First, he will win the title. Then, once he has the belt, he will call out Ian for the rematch. He even told Ian directly in Paris that this was going to happen, saying, "I'm going to win the belt, and then I'm going to challenge you to do a rematch, and after that I'm done." For Prates, that is the perfect ending, to prove himself against the man who gave him such a painful setback. Prates also made it clear that if he wins the championship earlier than expected, he won't hesitate to walk away sooner. His plan is to secure financial stability, invest wisely, and make sure he is safe and comfortable after fighting. He doesn't want to drag his career out unnecessarily. Instead, he wants to enjoy the rest of his life, free from the grind and the dangers that come with MMA. His mindset shows a balance between ambition and practicality. Prates is chasing greatness in the cage, but he is also thinking about the future beyond the octagon. For him, becoming champion is about legacy, and the rematch with Ian is about closure. Once those two boxes are checked, he sees no reason to continue fighting. He wants to leave on his own terms, with the belt in his possession, his redemption secured, and his future set up for success. Moving on to another news, the MMA community is mourning the tragic loss of Charlie Kirk, who was shot while on stage at Utah Valley University. He was rushed to the hospital in critical condition, but was later pronounced dead that same afternoon. The news sent shockwaves across the country, and many figures from the MMA world shared their reactions, paying tribute to him and expressing their heartbreak. Colby Covington posted on X, writing, "One of the brightest minds of this generation was taken from us today. Charlie was a patriot, a leader, a kind soul, and most importantly, he was a husband and a father. Pray for his family and pray for America." Aljamain Sterling also shared his thoughts, saying, "R.I.P. to Charlie Kirk. Just because you don't agree with someone's opinions doesn't mean you start killing people. Debate, dispute, and agree to disagree. You gotta be a dark human being to want to kill people over different likes, preferences, or opinions. That's what makes us special. We are all different but one people." Darren Till also spoke up, saying, "Prayers for Charlie Kirk," and added that whether people agreed with his views or not, Charlie gave everyone the right to challenge his ideas while he challenged theirs. Gilbert Burns called the news heartbreaking, while Stape posted on his Instagram story, writing, "God be with Charlie's family." Jamahal Hill also posted a photo with the caption, "Sad day in America when you can't even speak the truth. If you are cheering this, you are the lowest form of humanity there is. R.I.P. Charlie Kirk." Rampage Jackson reacted live on his stream when he first heard the news. In shock, he said, "What? Charlie Kirk died. That's sad. For having an opinion about things, the guy went to colleges and was just having opinions. Sick world we live in. They got to kill him. That's a true animal." Bryce Mitchell shared an emotional video saying, "I'm so upset about Charlie Kirk's passing. I can't really go to sleep right now. I keep thinking of his wife and kids. That's what gets me because I know he wasn't in any pain. I also know that Charlie Kirk was an extremely brave Christian, and he inspired me to make this post. He was the opposite of a coward. He said everything he believed and made it known to people because he loved our country. Our country, America, that's going to every single day." Sean Strickland posted a video to his Instagram where he gave a raw and emotional reflection. He wrote in the caption, "Thoughts on Charlie Kirk. The gut reaction is to double down and pick a side. Republicans, Democrats, they're not America first. They never have been. They stay in power by making us hate each other. They love this and encourage it. America first always." In his video, Strickland admitted that when he first heard about Kirk being shot, his gut reaction was excitement, a dopamine spike. He said he felt himself wanting to see the video, to see what happened. Then he realized how detached he had become from humanity, how desensitized people are today. He spoke about how society has turned into a generation of sociopaths, numbed by constant exposure to violence in the news and media. Strickland continued, explaining that growing up with violent video games and endless wars conditioned people into seeing death and violence as entertainment. He called it sad that America had been manipulated into becoming sociopathic consumers, more focused on stuff and things than on humanity and faith. He admitted he didn't know how to fix it, but said the assassination of Charlie Kirk was a dark day that revealed how divided and desensitized society has become. Another fighter shared his own reaction after returning from training and coaching. He said, "I just saw what happened to Charlie. Oh my God. I pray for Erica. I pray for the family. I had an opportunity to meet Charlie on a few occasions. He was an amazing man as a father and just as a person trying to fight for this country. Don't let them break us. Pray for Charlie. This is really important. I pray for the family. He was just trying to do good. The devils came and showed their colors. They are trying to divide this country as much as they can. Don't let them divide us at all. Wicked, wicked, evil's wicked. But God, Jesus will prevail as he always has and always will. Pray for Charlie Kirk." The MMA community, despite its wide range of views, came together in grief over the loss of Charlie Kirk. From heartfelt prayers to raw reflections on society's state, fighters expressed their sadness, anger, and solidarity for his family. His death was not only seen as a tragedy for his loved ones, but also as a dark moment for free speech and unity in America. Moving on to another news, over the weekend Ilia ran into Terence Crawford, and what followed has sparked a heated back and forth between the MMA and boxing worlds. After their brief encounter, Ilia wasted no time in making his stance known. He stated clearly that while he wasn't going to comment on what would happen in an octagon, he had no doubts about what would happen in a boxing ring. His words were sharp, direct, and filled with confidence. He said he would put Crawford to sleep on the very first contact. That declaration quickly spread across social media, stirring fans and fighters alike, and it didn't take long for Crawford to respond. Crawford, known for his calm but cutting remarks, shot back saying Ilia must have been drunk. He added that a lot of MMA fighters drink heavily, and implied Ilia was under the influence when making such a bold claim. His response was short, dismissive, and filled with the confidence of a boxer who has faced and beaten the very best in his sport. To him, Ilia's words were not only unrealistic but laughable. Still, the comment only fueled the fire and set the stage for Ilia to answer back once again. At a press conference today, Ilia took the mic and made it clear that he wasn't backing down from his statement. He said he had no personal opinion on Crawford's insult, but if Crawford ever truly wanted to measure himself, if he wanted to step forward and test his skills, Ilia was ready and waiting. The MMA champion's tone was calm but serious. He spoke about how many boxers often cross over verbally into the MMA world, taking shots at fighters and claiming superiority without ever truly stepping foot into the cage. Ilia pointed out that while many MMA fighters have gone into boxing to test themselves, very few boxers have ever returned the favor, daring to step into the octagon and face the reality of MMA combat. Ilia emphasized that he finds it frustrating to see so many in boxing criticize MMA athletes, mock their abilities, and downplay their achievements, while at the same time never putting themselves at risk in the same way. He explained that he has respect for the art of boxing, but he cannot ignore how often boxers talk without acting. According to him, the door is always open. Whoever wants to come test themselves, whoever wants to step forward and measure their technique against his, he is right here and ready. This back and forth has quickly turned into one of the most talked about storylines of the weekend. Fans from both sports are debating fiercely online. Some argue that Ilia's power, confidence, and aggression could shock Crawford in a ring, while others believe the experience, footwork, and elite skill set of Crawford would be far too much for any MMA fighter to handle under boxing rules. Regardless of the outcome, the clash of personalities has stirred the pot and highlighted the ongoing rivalry between MMA and boxing. Ilia remains firm in his belief that if Crawford ever steps forward, he will prove himself once again. Moving on to another news, Diego Lopes is gearing up for his showdown against Jean Silva at Noche UFC this weekend, and the featherweight contender is brimming with confidence. Lopes believes this fight will not go the distance, and he made it very clear that his goal on Saturday night is to deliver a finish. Speaking about his mindset, Lopes explained that he has trained specifically to end the fight inside the distance. In his own words, he feels this matchup is set up perfectly for fireworks. He is preparing to push forward, exchange punches, and force Silva into a high-paced battle, one that he does not see going the full 3 rounds. Lopes said that Silva better be ready because he is coming forward aggressively, looking for the stoppage from the opening bell. Lopes reflected on his journey so far, pointing to the experience he has already gained against some of the best fighters in the world. He reminded everyone that in his very first fight in the UFC, he showed he belongs at the top level. That debut, where he faced a highly ranked opponent on short notice, cemented his place in the division, and since then, he has continued to prove that he can compete with the elite. Now, with his spot in the rankings, Lopes knows he is defending not only his position, but also his reputation as a rising force in the featherweight division. He emphasized that the fight with Silva is another chance to demonstrate his skills, his toughness, and his ability to finish. For Lopes, it isn't just about getting his hand raised, it's about making a statement. He wants to show the division and the fans that he can end fights, not leave them in the hands of the judges. Lopes believes that with the training camp he has just completed, his conditioning, and the improvements he has made, he will be ready for whatever Silva brings. But in his mind, it all comes down to one thing: he will finish Silva before the final horn. Looking at the broader picture, Lopes acknowledged that the featherweight division right now is in a state of flux. With contenders moving up, down, or waiting for opportunities, things are wide open, and a big win on Saturday could put him right back into conversations for the top of the division. He believes that a highlight reel finish against Silva could push him into talks about a potential title shot in the near future. For Lopes, every fight is a step toward gold, and he views this matchup as the perfect opportunity to move closer to that dream. As fight night approaches, Diego Lopes is calm but determined. He has put in the work, sharpened his weapons, and built the confidence needed to chase a finish. For him, Saturday night is not just another fight, it's the moment to prove once again that he belongs among the very best. He expects to deliver a great performance, secure a dominant win, and maybe even put himself back into the title conversation. That's it from MMA Pulse News. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to leave a like and subscribe for daily MMA news.